Live from New York City. Who do we have here? I can't actually see. Right, we're going. Who have I got here? Here's Jeffrey.
Hey, I'm here. How are you there, Mr. Tony?
Fantastico, man. What's going on?
Well, not much. I just got done pitching. No, I don't pitch anything. I just got done going over.
Playing football? You look like you've been on there doing the NFL thing or something there.
We're playing right now, but it's the NFL preseason, and you know what I mean when I say NFL preseason. That doesn't mean anything. You know.
To me, no, not a clue.
Yeah, it's not. It's the way it is. But I was just on with a woman from Arkansas who answered one of my Craigslist ads.
You were on a woman from Arkansas? Did I hear that right?
On the phone with a woman from Arkansas.
Got it. It's these earbuds, Jeff. You know how it is.
I have the same earbuds. They're Apple, just like yours. Okay. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So is it just an I right now?
Just me and you. So someone else has just jumped on as a viewer. So we'll just go with this anyway, because it's gonna record itself, and okay. I'm still learning the technology, so you know any second now anything could come crashing down. I did agree to put a top on for this, and I've done my hair specially.
Okay.
No, the last one I did, it looked like I was. I guess the lighting in here, it looked like I'd grown a Santa Claus beard overnight. Oh, who's this? Who's joining us here? Who is joining us here?
I don't know, but I see his glasses.
Who we got here? Hang on. Who do we have?
I don't know. Identify yourself. Danger, Will Robinson.
I'll do that. I click something, and I've got to click something else now. Whatever. Okay, maybe I've... Okay. Who have I got there? Who is this? There's... it really... We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So, Jeff, I'm going to come back to you here.
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir, please.
Okay, Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy.
What we're going to do today is a training. It's headed up how I went from flat broke to... Oh, Stefan's on here as well. Stefan is on here.
Hi, Stefan.
How are you, Stefan? Stefan? How are you? Is that Brian? We got Brian on the line.
We got Brian there. That's Brian.
Hi, Brian. How are you today?
And there's Stefan.
There's Stefan.
Hi, Stefan. Wave to all of us.
So, what I'm going to do, and I expect a few other people coming on the line as well.
Okay, Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
There's Stefan. What we're going to do today is... I think, Stefan, you got your YouTube on as well.
Yeah. Trust me, I learned that the hard way, Stefan, the last 2 nights.
If you turn your normal YouTube link off and just use this live one, otherwise you're going to be hearing double, so you're going to have Tony in stereo, which, that's probably a little too much. So, what we're going to do today, I did a joint hangout the other night with my great friend Darren. And tonight I asked him to do one, and he said, "I don't need to. You're good to go on your own. You're good enough to go on your own." So I have really no idea what I'm doing. So what we're going to start with tonight is I'm going to open up to you guys. If you want to join in and partake, that's up to you. What I'm not trying to be is somebody else. What I'm trying to give you guys is some value, some insight, something to think about, and just open up. So I've never done this before, so bear with me. I'm not hearing any microphones, so I'm going to start with you, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
So we've worked together in different businesses for maybe a couple of years.
Yes.
and I never actually got to know your passion, your goals, your drive. I know you're a committed family man. I know you're involved in the Scouts. I know you're involved in the church. What's your true passion?
True passion is to help people. I have a philanthropic organization called Scouts Helping Scouts that I started 22 years ago. I have a network of about 1,300 CEOs or very high. Let me turn off my entourage real quick before it drives me nuts here. Sorry about that. There we go. Oh gosh, what we do is we raise money for scouting families and scouts that have been hurt by economic times and or natural disasters. And when I started it on July 1st, 1992, I did it because I was not happy. I was not happy with the Boy Scouts of America, the way that they handled it. And I'll switch to myself. I see you there, Tony. So I'm hoping you can still hear me.
Yeah, I've got you.
Good.
Just a quick one,
Yeah.
Jeff. There's other people on here. So your passion is the scout thing and helping the less fortunate scouts.
Right.
Is that fiscal or time wise or both?
Both.
Okay.
Both,
So
but it's also but it's also for retirement for for the family because Tony, kind of like you, I've made it all, lost it all, made it all, lost it all, and I'm in the process of rebuilding again from the disaster of 2008, 2009.
So we go forward.
Yes.
Brian, can you hear me? Brian? No. Okay. He's there anyway. So Stefan?
Yes.
Yeah. You we spoke about yourself the other day, and you gave us some insight. And I know Brian's listening on here, and he's down in North Carolina. And we were just having a chat through Messenger.
Okay.
What's downstairs? We were chatting just now before Messenger, and I hope you don't mind me using this, Brian. I'm not using your last name, so it could be any Brian. Jeff, is that you barking?
That's my dog.
Oh, it's not you. Okay. So
I just shut the door.
I was chatting with Brian, and he was saying that facing an uncertain future, and similar to yourself, he has a family, is in a similar industry to you, and he's not sure what's around the corner. I think that's what you opened up on a couple of days ago. Life. Jeff?
I'm right here.
Yeah, when you type, it all goes to you. We can all hear you typing.
I'm not typing.
Or whatever you're doing, eating nachos. So Brian's on there. I don't know if he's got a microphone or not. We can certainly hear. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to do this a little bit different. It is the whole point of this is a training call. So what I've learned over my life, and I learned it the hard way, is when I was younger, I moved to Canada in my early 20s on a whim, on a promise.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we've just got a great shot of Jeff eating a sandwich. That's fantastic. Okay, I moved to Canada on a whim, on a promise. I was in a business with someone in the UK. It really doesn't matter, but it was in the construction business. And he moved to Canada and called me 3 months later and said, "You've got to get over here. You've got to get over here. You've got to get over. The streets are paved with gold. Blah 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 blah." And I went there to find the streets weren't paved with gold. And I went through a lot of pain and I went through a lot of tears in my first week alone. And I answered an ad in a newspaper. I answered 3 ads. I went for 3 interviews, got all 3 jobs, and I took the one that paid me cash every day, and it was selling soft-sided luggage. And the first thing they do is on the training day, you spend an hour in a room, and then you go out with a mentor who you learn from and copy. And I got the hang of that. I got the hang of that job, but it wasn't for me. Then I'd only been in the country a few weeks, and I put the word out with a friend of a friend. And he came up with something. He said, I've just started working with this guy, this young guy, Timmy, and there's a job. I've got you an interview, and it's tomorrow. I said, well, I can't afford to take a day off tomorrow. He said, well, I've got you an interview. Whether you go or not is up to you. If you don't go, we're still friends, and if you do go, we're still friends. I worked there. I made some money in my first week. The guy's a good guy. That's all I'm saying. So I took a gamble. It was 2.5 hours public transport to get there. I walk into this office, nondescript office. I'm totally out of sorts. And I get ushered into this room. And the room was a fairly large office with just a desk in the middle and a guy that looked about 16 years old in a prom suit behind the desk, and he was on the phone. She ushered me in while I was on the phone. And I remember certain things. I remember making that decision, saying, you know, I made a decision to come to Canada, so I didn't regret it later. I'm going to make a decision to go to this interview. The guy's on the phone. He looks about 16, and the conversation goes as, yep, white one, yep, white leather, yep, white roof, yep, yep, Eldorado Burrits, yep, yep. No, I don't need to test drive it. Yeah, I know what they are. Yep. No finance? No, just, here, I'll give you put it on my card and deliver it. I'm too busy to get out of the office. And I thought, yes, I want to work with this guy. Looked about 16, and back then, Cadillac was something. You know, that to me, just getting into North America, was like this young guy has just bought a brand new Cadillac, literally for cash right in front of me. I want to work with this guy. I didn't even care what the job was. I didn't care. So I talked more into it, and it was a week's training, which meant I had to actually take a week off from earning, which I couldn't afford because I was flat broke, to get to this training, and I was, you know, really, really struggling. And what I found out that week is if I got there early enough, the guy that was doing the training, Pearson, would buy me breakfast. And I thought I was being the smart guy by getting there early before anyone else. The reality later on, as I gained more about life and relationships and connections, was Pearson saw something in me, and he wanted to mentor me. Tim, who's the other guy, I think initially thought I was a bit of a pain in the butt. However, I showed up every day. I went through a week's training. Then it was knocking on doors, selling water filters, and they weren't cheap things. They were sort of $1,000. So you had to go from knocking on a door to walking out with $1,000 and leaving a water filter within, supposed to be an hour and a half. And I went out to work. I watched someone a little bit. I thought I knew what I was doing. I did all this training. First week, zero. I was barely getting into anyone's house. The second week, I started getting in houses and doing presentations. And what I was told in the training by Pearson was, you'll knock on, I can't remember the exact figure, it might be 100 doors. You'll get 10 appointments, and they will. You'll do someone's got their YouTube on there. Shut it down, please. Okay. Someone's got their YouTube on, and we're hearing double here, so just use the one link if we can. Brian, I think it may be you. Yeah, okay, got it. You hear me double. So if you click the YouTube link, yeah, we're good. So I think you'll get 10 appointments. Brian, is that your link? Right. So Pearson told me knock on 100 doors to get 10 appointments. Out of 10 appointments, you'll get 3 presentations. Out of 3 presentations, you'll get 1 customer, and that pays you $150. So I got it 10 appointments, 3 presentations.
Yep, I'll try and fix it.
Is that you, Brian? Yeah? So if you've got 2 links open, the one that was on Facebook is the one you want to close.
I'll try and figure out how to get rid of this thing.
You're the IT guy.
All you need to do is just shut down YouTube. And if you shut down YouTube off of this link, what YouTube is doing is it's recording, and there's a delay, and that's why we're getting the echoing effect.
Jeff is here. Jeff is here for technical support.
Well,
So-
that's only because I've screwed up the last 2 nights.
We're going with it. It seems quiet now. So, yeah, 100 doors, 10 appointments, 3 presentations, an hour and a half each, 1 customer. I did 47 presentations, 0. And I was in my 3rd week. The other people that hadn't got any customers in the 1st week had quit. The ones that didn't quit in the first week had definitely quit in the 2nd week, and I'm still there. And I literally begged for help. And I said to my manager, who was the initial guy who introduced me to the job, I said, Pat, I need your help. Can you watch me? You watched me do a presentation. I didn't get the client, the customer. And at the end, when we left the house, I said, was that a good presentation? He said, Tony, that was great. I said, so why am I not getting customers? You're not trying to make friends with them. And, you know, I was early 20s. I knew everything. You know, I don't have time to make friends, Pat. I need to make money. He said, Tony, unless you make friends, you're not going to make money. And I said, okay, I'm not good at this. Tell me, teach me, mentor me. What will I do? So here's your first lesson today. And this will be recorded so you can watch it again. So business and life is all based around connection and personal relationship. Everything is based around connection and personal relationship. For any sustainable growth in a business, that has to come before everything else. We go to certain grocery stores, we go to certain bars and certain restaurants. Why? We like the people that work there. They could be more expensive, but we like the people that work there. There's a vibration. There's something going on. We're going to talk about that in a little while. And I asked Pat, and he told me, you need to make friends. And I said, I honestly don't know where to start. He said, I'm going to give you an exercise. I need you to do it tonight. I'm not going to ask you for the results. I'll know in 2 weeks. If you're still working in this business and you are earning money, I'll know you've done it. If you're not here in 2 weeks, I'll know you won't. That's all I'm going to say. So what would it be worth to see or know what this exercise is? You can't put a price on it, but Stefan, you guys on mute? Okay, you guys are on mute. I'm going to give you this lesson free. Tonight, write down 50 questions to help create rapport. So what do we mean by rapport? We mean maximizing our similarities, minimizing our differences. So when I met someone in Canada and they were from England, I'd be English. But if they were from Scotland, I'd be British. If they were from Italy, I'd be European. That's maximizing your similarities. If you've got a dog and they've got a cat, you've both got pets.
Right.
A dog and a cat are different. You minimize the difference. You make everything the same. They've got a girl, you've got a boy, children. They've got a son and you've got a nephew. Oh, I've got a nephew the same age as your son. But it's done by asking questions. So you can simply look around your own room. I'm looking at a screen now. There's nothing on the screen. There's 2 bottles of water, a mirror, and the bottom half of a small flat screen. So I could walk in this house now and say, wow, that is a cool mirror. Is that from like one of these art stores, or where do you get that? Did you paint it yourself? Is it supposed to go sideways, or is it supposed to go level? And I wait for the answers. Oh, do you only drink bottled water? Do you always get the same brand, or is some better than others? Because I drink one of these sparkling ones because I like it, but does this taste better than the tap water to you? Do you watch TV much? Okay. What's your favourite sort of thing to watch? What's your favourite movie? So we've got 10 questions just then on that. I can look around, I can look at anything and create questions out of it. But the exercise to write 50 questions down, I found really hard for the first 30 minutes. I got 3 or 4 questions, then all of a sudden, boom, it rolled. I figured out the process. It wasn't the questions, it was the process. It was the ability to look at something and turn it into a question to create rapport. It could be absolutely anything at all. So when we create rapport and we find some common ground, it's an interesting physiological occurrence that happens. Sometimes in your life, you're going to meet someone and you just don't like them. Boom. You don't know what it is. You just don't like them. And they don't like you. And you don't know what it is. There's something slightly off. The vibrations are at a different level. The vibe is not there. There's something subconsciously that's not working, that's not gelling. Then sometimes in your life, you're going to run into someone, and boom, you're like you've known each other your whole life. And you don't know why. You don't know what it is, but it just happens. I've got, great friends all over the world, and sometimes I've not been in contact with them for 50, the guy this week, 30 years. 30 years, boom, straight, the social media now, people just pop up all over, and it says, oh, it was yesterday. But this is when you have great rapport, wonderful rapport. And it comes from asking questions, correct questions, but more importantly, 2 ears, 1 mouth. More importantly, sincerely listening to the answer with selfless interest. What do I mean by that? Selfless interest. I'm not asking a question to find out how it benefits me. I'm asking a question. I used to work in these mainly Italian neighborhoods in Toronto. And, I'd always say, so where are you from? They always say Italy. I know it's Italy. Yeah, I know it's Italy. Whereabouts? Are you from the south, the north? And now I know the difference between Sicilians and Calabrese. I know the difference between Napolitan and Rome. It's from that selfless interest in what they're saying. It wasn't, okay, this guy's from Calabria. Calabria's like water. They can buy a water filter. It was nothing to do with that. It's a process of selfless inquiry, growth. Now the situation is, when I get this information, that's gone in there. It's gone right in the subconscious. I can meet people on the street from all over. This morning, just this morning, I was in a coffee shop. This is New York humor, by the way. You might not get it. So I'm in a coffee shop having a breakfast. This guy about 60 years old asks the waiter, who is obviously Mexican, asks the waiter, so where are you from? And the waiter says, Kuala Lumpur. And straight away I shouted out, oh, so you missed the Malaysian Airlines flight? And I knew Kuala Lumpur is Malaysia, and all of a sudden, we're having 20 people in this restaurant are having this conversation going on. It was just fun. It was just bizarre. So this is when we act selflessly. We listen to what's coming in. It goes in there. And there's a point in our life where that information may help us connect with somebody else. So that's lesson 1. Write 50 questions on rapport. Now, I was also fortunate here, whereby my first two real mentors were in this business that I started working in. So one of them, Tim, and I'm going to use his name because I don't care, because he tells my story on his CDs, so I'm going to use his name. Tim had great drive and like never seen anything like this guy. Just walk in a room, just to drive. And I kind of learned a little bit of that. I had a fairly good level of persistence. But I kind of learned that drive from him. So there's days when I wanted to quit. There's days when I wanted to go home. There's days when I wanted to find something else to do. There's days when I was actually crying on the streets of Toronto, frozen hands. And if the earth could have opened up and swallowed me, I would have begged for it. But I just kept thinking of Tim at the front of that room going, whatever it was he's got, whatever it was he was doing. So I morphed into that. I followed him, I watched him, I became great friends with him. We've been in business together ever since. So I watched him at that. Now the other guy, Pearson, was a phenomenal storyteller. He would stand in front of 40 guys and tell you a story, and he could have told you that story 5 times, and you were still spellbound by the same story. You knew the ending, and we're still sat there going, like a fairy tale, like a movie you've already seen. You know the ending. You're watching it again. Why do we think something else is gonna be a different ending? They changed it on the rerun. I don't know, but I thought, wow, I was in awe of this guy. And for whatever reason, he used to get me. I used to come in early. He'd get me breakfast, and it was just he didn't try and teach me anything. It was just him and I connecting. And again, we became very close friends. Unfortunately, he passed away in a car accident some years after that. One thing I learned from Pearson was he really enjoyed his life. He had a family, had a wife, everything, but he'd love going to restaurants. He had a great wealth of knowledge and really enjoyed life. And one morning he came in and said, "You've got to do the meeting." And I said, "Well, I can't do the meeting." "You mean like stand up on stage in front of 40 people and talk?" "No chance. Go get someone else." "Why can't you do it?" And he put his shades up and his eyes were red and he'd lost his voice. He said, "I had a good night last night." "Oh, okay. You've got to do it at the meeting." I said, "No, pick someone else." "No, Tony, they listen to you." I said, "No, they don't. Pick someone else." Pearson was kind of a big guy, and maybe, I know he played a lot of football, somehow grabbed me, threw me on stage, and walked off. So I ended up stood in front of 40 of my peers without a clue what to do. Now, I was the quiet kid in school. So if you're reading out and it's going line by line, you read a passage, you read a passage, you read a paragraph. As soon as I felt it was coming near me, I'd put my hand up, "Miss, I need to go to the bathroom." I would climb out the windows and run home. I was the quiet kid. I couldn't do it. Public speaking, forget about it. No chance on earth I could have stood up at school. No chance on earth I could have stood up at school in front of people and spoke. I couldn't sit down and read. So Pearson threw me on stage. I didn't know what I was going to do. Again, it was like, please ground, open up, swallow me whole. And I just something came to me, that rapport thing. "Okay, guys, I've never done this before. What do you want me to talk about?" I didn't know, so I asked a question. I didn't know. And one guy, I can't remember who it was, said, "Well, just tell us your story." So I did. And in the course of 30 or 40 minutes, I became almost fluid with public speaking. And the thing with public speaking is, it's the #1 fear of the human race. #2 is dying. Loosely translated means people would rather die than speak in public. And that day, I would have. But I did it. I got forced into it. I did it. And ever since then, I used to watch Pearson. And I'd go on personal development programs and watch great speakers. I've been for breakfast with Zig Ziglar. I go to Tony Robbins all the time, these guys. And that was the days before YouTube, where it's so easy now. I'd have to wait for someone to come to Toronto for a live event and go and see them. And some of them are not that great. Some of them write great books and are terrible speakers. You know what? Stay as a book writer. But there's guys that get on stage, you know, and it doesn't matter if they're actors, comedians, whatever. They get on stage and there's something there. But I learned my skill set from being forced into it. And now the challenge I have now is I can't keep my mouth shut. If I go to a comedy club, I'm the guy in the audience holding his own with the comedian, with the stand-up guy. I've done this lots of times. I've stopped going. It's getting, you know, it's getting to the point of embarrassment now. So, number one, write down 50 questions about rapport. Number two, speak with people. It could just be strangers. It could just be a simple hello with a smile. Okay? Selflessly. You know, we all have connections. We all have people we know. But what I find is my second, I don't use the term lesson. I'm not teaching you guys. I'm hoping you gain some insight from it. Is I try and make sure I connect with 5 new people every day. I don't go looking for them. I don't send Facebook friend requests out to people. I don't do stuff like that. But walking out the door, it could be the coffee shop, like the waiter in the restaurant today. I connect with this guy over him making a stupid comment about Kuala Lumpur and me making a stupid one about Malaysian Airlines. And all of a sudden, we're laughing and joking, and the owner's in on it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, that was it. It's easy. So, number one, learn how to create rapport by doing that exercise. Number two, learn how to connect. Now, also, what I learned is, in that business, how to make money. Now, I was in my early 20s. And in that business, if you got a weekly paycheck for over 1,000, it went on the wall of fame. And I just went, yeah, you know, I want to be on the wall of fame. And Pearson would talk about goal setting, and Tim would talk about goal setting. I used to think that's all BS. Mine's in my head, and I never really get it. But my goal was that wall, and I didn't realize it. Every day I go in, I didn't wrote my goals down at that time. You know, Pearson said he'd read 2 great books. How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling, which is more of a life skill book. It's an old book by a guy called Frank Betcher, who was a baseball guy. And it's about parallels with baseball and life in general, and how you can switch it around in a second. In a second, you can switch your life around. That was one book, which I didn't read till 10 years later. And then after I read it, and I think Mike's on the line, he might have had one of those books off me. I was buying these literally by the 1,000 and giving them away to people. Are you there, Mike? Oh, everyone's muted themselves. You got it. Now, also, the other book he said, and he talked about something called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And Pearson used to talk about it. Again, I didn't get the book till 10 years later, because I thought, you know what, I'm too busy to be reading self-development stuff. But I listened to it, and then I found, you know, when we're in our early 20s, we know everything. By the time we're 30, we're surprising how much we can actually learn. And as life goes on, it just gets, the quest for knowledge and the absorption rate seems to get so much greater. So I would watch Pearson talk about these 2 things. So these 2 guys, Tim and Pearson, were my mentors, and the wall of fame was my goal. I just wanted to be on that wall. I wanted to be on the wall. I wanted my name on the wall. It's like you're naming lights on Broadway, but that was my equivalent. And I got my checks on there. And then all of a sudden, my ego kicked in, and you know, I'd made it. I was making $1,000 a week. It's nothing, but I was 20-something years old, 22, 23 years old, thinking it's all the money in the world. And I had a mental block, an absolute mental block of $1,000 a week. I started training people by accident. One day, my manager at that point was called Big Jimmy. And one day he didn't show up. He used to party too hard. He lost his life to it in the end. And he one day just didn't show up. And Tim said, "You've got to take the guys out today." I can't take the guys out. I don't know what to do. He said, "Just do what Jimmy does." I said, "Jimmy doesn't do anything. He just drops us off and I never see him again." He said, "Okay, well, just drop them off and work with them. Do something. I don't know." I said, "Tim, no, I'm not doing it." He said, "You know what? You can take the caddy. You can take the Cadillac." Really? I can take. I never even drove till that point. I'd always been a passenger of someone else's vehicle. I can take your brand new Cadillac. And 3 guys. He said, well, get 4 guys, squeeze them in. Really? When do you want it back? I'll bring it back tomorrow when you come to the office. And I went, yes. Yes, I get to drive the caddy. So I went working with these guys, and the rapport thing kicks in again. I found out more about these guys I was working with on the same rapport basis. Oh, yeah, where are you from originally? Da, 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 da. Okay, how are you finding the job? Da, 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 da. Yada, yada, yada. And in maybe a half an hour drive to where we were working, I found out a lot about these guys, and one of the guys was hurting. And I know all I ever wanted to do when I got in that business was see someone write some business. And I never did, ever. And I thought, you know, that's what I wanted. Here's what I'm going to do. And I said to this guy, you know what, let's just have some fun. Don't worry about it. Just come and watch me for a while. He said, I need to earn some money. I said, well, how much did you earn yesterday? It was a commission-only job. He said, I didn't earn anything yesterday. Okay, you know, you might not earn anything today if you watch me, and you might not earn anything if you don't. But you might learn something if you watch me. I don't know. I've never done this before. So I take this guy, we knock on these random doors. Someone lets, you know, at this point in time, I could literally get into anyone's kitchen in 2 minutes, you know. And we go to this area. The houses are 10,000 square feet, huge. You know, there's Bentleys on the driveway. And he said, "You're going to knock on these doors here?" Sure. I don't think they want to talk to you. Sure they will. Sure they will. Why are you going to knock on these doors? So I said, one thing I know about these doors, none of these guys are going to tell me they can't afford it. Even if they can't, they're not going to embarrass themselves, number one. And I've got a great story. So we go in this door, and this guy's name was, Frank. And one of my things was, when I was knocking on these doors, and I'd work the same area with the same people, and it's the same with any business. You work with the people and around the people you know. I knock on this door, and he said, I'm not really interested. Yeah, that's what Joe down the road said. Which Joe? Maria's husband. The guy with a pickup truck. I think he's an electrician or a plumber or something. He said, oh, the bricklayer. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, is he a bricklayer? I don't know. Oh, come on in. Now, what I'd learned working this same neighborhood was, on every street, there was a guy called Giuseppe. It was a huge Italian neighborhood in Toronto, Woodbridge. There was a guy called Giuseppe. His wife very often was called Maria, and I'm not generalizing it. It was just a reality. I must have had 100 clients called Joe and Maria, and you know, they're all in construction and driving pickup trucks. So it didn't matter. What we're using is third party. What we're using is third party. I use third party all the time with this business I'm in right now. I use somebody else. I'm not the expert. The other guy's the expert. I'll connect you to him. So you learn to use third party. So we're going this thing. It's supposed to take an hour and a half. 20 minutes later, we walk out with a check for $2,000 and knock on next door. I said, yeah, we were seeing Frank and Mike next door. I said, I'm not really interested. Well, we just managed to fit it in Mike's, and just see if you qualify and see if it fits. What is it? I'll show you. You got a minute? Yeah, come on in. So, sorry, it was Mike next door, Frank. So it was then Joe, then Frank, then Mike, 20 minutes. Boom. Next one. Next one. Guy called Paul. Biggest house in the neighborhood. And not interested, not interested, not interested. Yeah, that's fine. You know what? That's what Mike said, and that's what Frank said. And you know what? There's a reason they've obviously done this. Mike and Frank have done this? Yeah, just now. Within the hour. What is it? Oh, you got a second? I'll show you. Straight in, 20 minutes. Boom. So I made around $1,500 in an hour. The guy that's watching me said, aren't you supposed to spend an hour and a half explaining everything? He said, he didn't seem to do anything. I said, you know, I don't know what I do. But here's what I do know. If people like you, they will find a reason to do business with you. If they don't like you, they just won't do business with you. You could be giving the stuff away free. You could be giving money away free. They won't take it. So these guys, I didn't know them from Adam. And I just literally created a bit of rapport, start asking questions about them, their family, where they're from, listening sincerely to the answer and selflessly. where they're from, what they do for a living. So when I went to the next door, yeah, I've just seen Mike next door. You know, Mike used to be the hairdresser, owns the apartment building down the road. He knows I know Mike. I've had a conversation with him. So, 50 questions to create rapport. Learn how to connect. Learn how to use third party. Third party is everything. Because, you know, everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. Same with the businessman now. Everyone's doing it. The phone never stops. Well, I don't know whether I should do this or not. Well, it doesn't matter to me. Everyone's doing it. It only matters to you. Everyone's doing it? Yeah, everyone's doing it. Oh, I guess I better jump in then. Yeah, jump in. Let's get trained. Let's get doing it. So I did this for a while. And then I was running within, I'd say, a month, something around 60 to 70% of the I think we used to call them water consultants or something. 60 to 70% of these people end up in my team. And my ego was riding high. But what actually happened is I started making excuses to myself and believing my own self-talk that I was too busy to go out and get clients because I was running this huge team, like I was running IBM or something. In the reality, it was a bunch of guys hanging out, knocking on some doors and going out on a good time afterwards. So what happened is my own personal, is my override, my management money started heading towards 1,000. Here's what happened. That's my own personal business at 1,000. That's my management money, 0. As my management money started going up, my personal income went down. I had this huge mental block of $1,000 a week, and I gave myself excusitis, which I believed my own BS. $1,000 a week, and I'd look at these huge houses thinking, I can't figure out how they can afford, how they're paying for this on $1,000 a week. I had such a mental block. I didn't think there was another human being on the planet that earned more than $1,000 a week. It was insane. But I was doing well, and I had a great group of guys, and we were having fun, and we always had, you know, went out for beer and wings or whatever, and, you know, back then $1,000 a week as a young guy, you know, I wasted all of it. I'd just go out to restaurants and driving Corvettes and BMWs and what was the other one? A pink Porsche Turbo or something. I can't remember. You know, that many cars, I can't remember. And one day, Tim said to me, he said, you know, we opened an office in Montreal. He said, it's not doing too well. He said, you're from Europe, aren't you? I said, yeah. So you speak French? Oui. Okay, you run in Quebec. Merci. Those, Stefan, were my only words of French. Oui and merci. And I took this and went to Montreal.
That's all you needed.
I know it now. I did it at school, but I was such a screw up at school. I thought I'd never going to use French. How wrong I was. So I go to Montreal. My ego wouldn't fit in my own head. You know, I'm 23 years old, running the entire province of Quebec, which is larger than Texas, and I walk in there like the king of Siam. I don't know. Actually, maybe that's the wrong analogy with the hair shaving today, but someone. And my ego, and I'd come up with these quotes. He who has the gold, here's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. And just my freaking ego was so huge that inevitably it came crashing down. And I literally had to leave Canada overnight because of the financial mess I got myself into. I had to just step back from my own ego. And here's something you don't want to do in your early 20s. You don't want to call your dad and say, Dad, can I use the spare room from the airport back in England? I thought you were in Canada. And this is before, obviously, the internet and things. Yeah, I had to come back. Okay, why don't you just get somewhere to live? I'm low on cash. Well, I thought you were making all kinds of money. Yeah, I was. Where's it all gone? I've got some nice clothes, and I've got some great stories about bartenders, and I know these beautiful girls. And by the way, can you lend me 100? What? What? Hang on, you've just flown back in, you've no money, and you want to borrow it and live in the spare room? I don't understand how you've done it, but sure, absolutely. And I gained humility instantly. I went back at entry level in a company that was selling advertising space for the British Post Office, and I had a manager And again, my ego kicked in. This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not run teams like me. He's not run the whole of Quebec. He's an idiot. So I went to see the owner. I said, listen, I just want to work alone. I just want to be left to go. No, this is how we do it. Then I thought, the owner's an idiot too. So even though I broke the company record in my first day out, I self-sabotaged myself by trying to prove these people wrong. I ended up quitting the job after a month because I went from there, being above everything, to crash. Again, my ego kicked in and started again. And I went through this cycle a few times. And then it really manifested is, I am my own problem. Because as soon as I achieve something, it's like this, boom, boom, I achieved something, so all of a sudden I'm the king of the universe. But that's not the reality. The reality is, when that happens and it becomes arrogance or whatever it is, so, sometimes it takes a few crash and burns to lose this, to lose the ego and the humility, and gain the humility. So a couple of years later, I get a phone call from Tim, or in reality, I probably called him. I called him to say hello, and he said, Tone, how are you doing? Oh, fantastic. Listen, we got this great new business, and Tim's a guy that's like, he's good at the rapport, but when he knows you, it's straight to business. He'll have one or two questions, boom. And you're not offended because the one or two questions, how's it going, Tony? Yeah, where are you living now? Okay, what are you doing? Oh, that's great. Listen, you know what we're doing right now? Straight into it. And, my connection with him was strong enough. But I'd kind of got myself grounded in the UK. I got an apartment, I got a car, I got all the BS material things, TV, because I used to watch it back then. I used to have a car back then. I don't even know how this TV behind me works. I've never ever switched it on. And we're chatting away. He said, we've got this great business. We've got this great business, Tom. I said, okay. And, we're in the deregulation industry, and I'm going like, I haven't a clue what this guy's talking about. I said, how the deal works is you get you get an office, you get 2,000 clients, and I'll partner you up with Greenie, who is a guy that used to be in my team. I'll partner you up with Greenie. Greenie will come over. You guys will split the work between you. You get 2,000 clients a week, pays you 10,000 each. And I just went, what? 10,000? I said, really, Tim? I said, Tom, whenever I've spoken to you about numbers, have I ever inflated them? I said, no, generally you lowball them. I said, how many offices have you got that are doing those numbers? I said, we've only got 2 offices, and they're both doing over 2,000 a week. I went, okay. So we need you over here. I said, don't you remember last time I almost bankrupted you? I said, did you learn anything from that? I said, yeah, I learned a lot. I said, okay, me too. We go again. I said, well, I'm not sure, Tim. And I said, the other thing is, I've got my house here and I've got this thing, and, I don't really have a lot of cash for flights and things like that. And he said, Tom, listen, if you had to leave the country and give up everything, how long would it take you? I said, probably a couple of weeks. And he said, well, no, 2 weeks is too long. I said, I don't know. No, how long, Tom? Tom, no. How long would it take you to literally dump everything at 10 cents on the dollar and go? I said, why would I do that? He said, well, how long would it take you? Put yourself in that situation. How long would it take you? And I said, I don't know, a couple of days. Right. Here's what I'm going to do. Give me your bank account information. I'm going to make up the loss for you, whatever it is. So, and I'll pay for your flight. And then I went, well, I said, no, I'm going to book your flight because I want you here in 2 days. Give me your bank information. I'm going to put some money in. I went, okay. I gave my bank info, and it was a couple of thousand appeared in the bank. And I just thought, wow, this guy's serious. This guy wants me over there. Why, I don't know. But again, that was my self-talk, me doubting myself. And I was basing it on my previous experience with him, where I'd grown, then crashed. I crashed and burned. So here's what happened. I fly over there. I haven't a clue what business I'm getting into. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to check on the time here. Okay, we're good. I don't know what I'm doing. And same again. Okay, tell me, teach me, show me. I sit in a training class. I show up in a suit. And he said, we don't wear suits anymore. He gave me some company clothing. And he just said, I said, you know, you're going to go out and you're going to work with Arnold. You're going to watch Arnold. I sat through like 2 or 3 hours of classroom training. You're going to go out with Arnold tonight. Tonight. You're not sitting around thinking about this. You're going out with Arnold tonight. And I went and watched this guy who was like a team leader, Arnold. And he wasn't very good. It certainly wasn't inspirational. He was kind of like the Eeyore thing in my mind. I'm going, what's Tim doing putting this guy running a team? So the next day, I said, you know, I went out with Arnold. I didn't really get a lot from it. I said, I want to go with the absolute best guy you've got. I want to copy him. I want to get mentored by the best guy you've got. There's got to be someone that gets more business than Arnold. And he said, oh, yeah, we've got Dr. I can't think it was a Polish guy, and we never used his last name. And he was a doctor in mathematics or something. It was Dr. Ed or something. Actually, I think it was Dr. Ed. No, yeah, he was Dr. Ed, for sure. Not the talking horse, that's Mr. Ed. So I go out with Dr. Ed. I haven't a clue what he does. He's talking that fast. Boom, 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 next. And I see this guy pick up 20 clients in front of me, and all of a sudden I've got my belief. So here's the reality. Like the 4-minute mile, like the $1,000 a week, I never knew you could get 20 customers in a day in any business. You know, when we were in the water filter industry, if you got 3, it was amazing. If you got 3 in a week, it was good. If you got 3 in a day, it was off the scale stuff. This guy got 20. And I went back to him next day. I said, does he get any complaints? This guy, I couldn't understand what was going on. And he said, no, I don't get any complaints. He said, clients are happy. We do feedback calls. I went, okay. So I tried to pick Ed's brains. So I went out all the next day, just went working on my own. I got a client. Called him at night, or he called me or whatever. So how'd you go on? I said, great, I got one. He said, you got one? A guy with your experience got one. A guy that I've just given a couple of thousand to got one. A guy that I'm paying for his hotel and I paid for his flight to got one. I said, yeah, I got one. I went out today to get one. It took me 7 hours consistently to get my first client. And I said, you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm going to get 2, Tim. So 2's used. No, 10. I said 2. Next day, 2. Same argument again over the phone. Tone, how much have the flight, the hotel, it's costing me. And I said, tomorrow I'm going to get 4. And on my 5th day, I got 28, which was a company record, 28 new clients. That was on a Saturday. And previous to that, I'd never worked Saturdays. It seems to work Saturdays. Everyone's off, everyone's home. Oh, okay. Got 28. What also happened when I got picked up from the airport from Tim is he took me to his home. And when I last knew him, he had a nice little townhouse in Toronto, in Richmond Hill. He took me to his new home, 5,000 square foot. He picked me up in a 735 BMW when it was or 740, whatever it was, whatever the top of the range one was there at the airport. So I was impressed anyway because he had a Cadillac before then, and Cadillacs by then were below my goal level. So he picked me up, then he takes me home, undoes his garage, and he's got a brand new top of the range black Porsche in there. And I went, oh crap, this guy is doing it. So I got my 28, then on Sunday I had off. The Monday I said, right, there's no point in me building a team because you want me running an office. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch your trainer, and I'm going to learn how to do the training, and then put me somewhere I'm not going to enjoy myself. Put me somewhere without distractions. Put me somewhere without great restaurants, because I know what I'm like. If I start getting 10,000 a week, I know what I do. I enjoy my life. Put me somewhere I'm not going to be distracted. He said, I've got just the place for you. Hamilton, Ontario. So we drive through Hamilton, Ontario. I'm embarrassed because the place looks desolate back then. It's an old steel town. Everything was closed down. It looked like 90% of the population were unemployed. I'm embarrassed to be driving through downtown as Tim's passenger in his brand new black Porsche. And he drives me up into this industrial park and said, here's your office. and pulls up a roller shutter garage door. I said, Tim, this is not an office. He said, it is. There's a desk and a whiteboard. I said, yeah, there's also a pit for changing oil. He said, no, that's not for changing oil. That's so we put all the garbage in there and we just cement over it. And Tim's a guy who's his enthusiasm and his belief is so infectious that I just went, oh, okay, let's do that then. What do I do now? He said, we put an ad in the paper, we connect the phone, put an ad in the paper, you're good to go. I am? Yeah, well, first of all, what we'll do, we'll put a random ad in the paper, get some people, and out of those people, I'll find you some help, a receptionist. Okay. So I'm sat by the phone in this roller shutter thing on my own. There's guys filling the hole in with cement, and it must be the paper kicked in, and the phone, as quick as I put it, just one single phone, as quick as I put it down, ring, yeah, ring, ring, ring. 18 hours, from 7 in the morning till 1 in the morning, it wouldn't stop. And in the end, I just went, and pulled the plug out. I booked all these people in for an interview. They all, and I realize now that the best time to build businesses are in recessionary times, because people are looking, people are seeking, people are looking for a way out, a way forward, and when there's not great job opportunities out there, people also become somewhat desperate and will try things outside of their own comfort zone. So from there, I started building. And what happened, and this is a parallel with the business I'm in now. What happened, two things. That business, deregulation, we were at what's called a category creator. It was a brand new. It was ready. The market was ready. It was cheap rate, long distance phone calls. The market had just opened up. The market was ready. So the category creator. When we sold water filters, it was a category creator. No one else had done it. I've had other businesses. Free alarm systems. Category creator. No one else had done free alarm systems till I came up with the idea. Mike was in a business. Category creator. We were in Europe, deregulated energy, before it was even legal. We jumped the gun on it. We created a whole category. So we're in a business like that right now. But on this particular point, what I found was I can't do it all alone. I learned how to delegate. And how did I delegate? I helped people do what I do. I help people do what I do. Now, you're not going to become me and I'm not going to become you, because we're very, with different personalities. But there's certain elements and certain traits and certain techniques in creating rapport, connecting with people, that will bring business in. 100%. I swore years ago I'd never knock another door again in my life. I've got bruised hands. I've got bashed knuckles, segs on my knuckles from knocking on doors. I can knock on concrete. My hands are like rock from knocking on doors. And I swore, right, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore. But what I found was I had to show people how to do it, to delegate. So what I would do is recruit a bunch of people. Then I got an extra receptionist. So my 2 receptionists, I trained one of those to do interviews, so we could interview twice as fast. And literally we had 300, 400, 500 people a week coming through for interviews. So I'd talk in front of them all, rather than do a whole interview, 10 minutes interview everyone, 15 minutes, I'd talk in front of everyone about what we've got, what we do, how it pays, and then we'd do interviews and you ought to get in, and the interview was 2 minutes. Hi John, how are you? Okay, so I see you from there. How long have you lived there? Okay, and do you live there with your family? Okay, John, so tell me about your life. Where did you see yourself going? What is it you want? What's your real passion? What's your real passion? What do you enjoy doing? I enjoy playing hockey. Could be, it's Canada. It probably was hockey a lot. I enjoy playing hockey. Oh, do you play much? No. Okay, why is that? I either don't have the time or I don't have the money. And very often, they don't have both. Okay, John. So what you're saying to me is if you had more money, and freer time, you'd play more hockey. Is that what you're telling me? Yeah. Have you seen anything today that I've showed you that would help you achieve that or get some way towards it? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love this. All right, John. So why should I take you on board? Why do you think you qualify for this opportunity, for this job opportunity, whatever you want to word it? You know, now I'm not in the job business anymore. It was always an opportunity because these were not paid employees. They were 100% commission only people to knock on doors. Why do you want to do this? Man, you know what? I can do this. I want to do this. I've seen it. You know what? I've seen this. I get it. I just get it. I just get it. What do I need to do? Okay. On a scale from 1 to 10, John, how serious are you? 10. Okay. So what you're telling me is if we invest money in training you, and I put you with one of my main guys to watch, are you telling me you're just going to learn, watch, and copy, and more important than anything, take action? Is that what you're telling me, John? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You know what, John? It's good enough for me. You're in. Put my hand out, shake hands. Next. No emotion involved in it at all. It was just simply, this is what we've got. And this is life. I create some rapport. I talk to them about him, his interests, what he wants, what his passions are, his family. I find out, then it's as though the magic connection portal is opened and whoomph, straight in. So tell me, what's your passion? Hockey. Why don't you do it? Not enough time, not enough money. So can you see something here that would give you the chance to play more hockey? I'm talking about him. Not make more money, more hockey. And all of a sudden, it's like the Matrix. He just leaps forward through the vortex, tells me so much why he wants to do it, convinces me, and you're in. That's it. So, rapport. Starts from rapport. Connection. Find out about them. So what happened here with this business, that particular business, you know, I started it with zero. It started with my first week, I earned nothing. I wrote one deal on the pay cycle and didn't realize you actually had to hand the paperwork in to get paid on it. I mean, that's how smart I am. Oh, you mean I have to actually show you the business, give it to you? I can't just say, I got one deal, pay me, it was $20 per client on that particular deal. And I did that, and I realized I started getting busier. The other irony here is the one guy that was supposed to join me and help me took a salary position with a competitor. He's still a wonderful friend of mine, and we still stayed friends. But he chose that option. I chose my option. So I found I needed help. I'm doing it all on my own. I do the classroom training one day. Second day, I did 2 hours of classroom training. I became Superman. I had to go in my office and change and put the door knocking cape on. So I'd be doing the training and the stuff that I find is total BS now. I used to wear Versace and all that stuff all the time. So I'd be the Versace guy. I'd go in my office and come out as the shorts and the company polo shirt and the hiking boots guy. And I went, "You're training us?" "Yeah, I'm training you." "Oh, wow. Okay, let's go." And it didn't bother me. I would take, 10, 20, 30 people watching me on one door. I have to explain to the person on the door, "Hi, I'm here from da-da-da-da. This is my training class. Say hello, class." And it was like synchronized, like, "Hello." And, we just get a laugh, and I'd do the thing, and, da-da-da-da-da, and the client would, okay, and the deal was done. I said, "Right, you guys, did you see that? Do you know what to do? This is my first class. I've given you all a street, and there's one of you on each side of the street. Here's your challenge. I need help. So out of you guys, I don't care if you're male, female, black, white, old, young, we had everything. I don't care. The 4 guys, and I use the term guys as a guys and girls, I mean, same thing. The 4 that do the best this week are team leaders next week, and you're doing what I'm doing right now, and you're going to make money off everybody else. So 4 guys, 4 guys. And I kept my word. The next week, I had 4 guys. But what I could do then is quadruple my recruiting. So when I had a class of 30 people, I couldn't have a class of 120 people. I couldn't deal with them. So I dropped people right into the deep end a week later. Oh, hi, Bruce. Bruce was one guy, and Nadine was a girl that did it. I can't remember the other two. It will come to me. Mark was a guy. And these guys live in your area. Here's your 20 guys. 20? Hang on, last week you saw me train 30. I've never done this before. Well, you're going to learn fast, aren't you? Just do what I did. Have fun. Connect with you guys. Connect with the people. Have fun. Just go have fun. Boom! Next week, another 4 managers, team leaders, whatever the title was back then. And then we had to get sub-leaders in because we were growing at such a rate. And all I did at that point was I just, once a week, and Tim used to, you say, make sure you have meetings with you guys and everything, and, do the, not so much the rah-rah-rah thing, but give quality content, usable content. If you do an hour meeting with someone, make sure they learn 5 minutes worth of stuff. Doesn't matter which 5 minutes, everyone picks something different from everything. And then boom. And then what happened, I remember when I got there, I had a meeting in Toronto with, and I'll leave these names off. They're all on my Facebook. One guy was running a business at the office in Montreal. One was running the Toronto thing. And I said, so how many deals, clients are you getting a week? And one said like 2,300. Oh, we beat them last week, 2,500. I said, okay, give me 8 weeks, I'll beat you guys. And they started laughing at me. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those guys. If you tell me I cannot do something, or if you ridicule me, I've got this skill set. It's not a talent. It's a skill set that I can just switch on and go, boom. This is not happening. We built this. More managers, more crew, more everything. It was just a traditional business that we had to build, and it was based around, back then, the more people you showed you're recruiting to, the more that would join you, the more that would come through, and the more leaders you could produce. And the 8th week, and I made a mistake on the title, so you know what, sue me. It was 28,000, not 29,000, 28,739. My checks, they had a max limit of 4,000. They couldn't write company checks bigger than 4,000. So Trish, who used to, open the payroll, I'd just say, how many checks did I get this week? How many checks did I mean, this is insane. Not how much is my pay. How many checks did I get this week? 7, whatever it was. I can't do the math quick. Yeah, I think it's 7. I went, what, really? And it was for the 8th week. And that 8th week, I'd managed to get us thrown out of our other office because of parking, because we had like 100 cars outside. And the woman next door said, your previous guy never had this many. Yeah, that's why he's not here. And I managed to not create rapport with the landlord. They gave us a week to move out. So in that week, we had to move office, do a full fit out on a banquet hall, turn it into an office. I had these guys, I kept the recruiting going on. I put 138 hours in that week. It didn't bother me. I wasn't tired. I was just in that zone where somebody laughed at me. Screw this. Just because we've disbanded offices, just because everything's gone pear-shaped, that's no excuse. 8 weeks, I said. 8th week. Beat them, destroyed them, 2,800 new clients. The pay that was 2 weeks later, so for that week, I got paid $28,739 for the week. However, if you'd have told me that on week 1, I couldn't have conceived it. I couldn't get it. I've got a situation on my Facebook now. I posted this, and some guy has said it's impossible. You can't earn that. I said, well, Jay-Z earns that. Well, he knows billions of people. So what? He doesn't know them. He's not connected to them. You know what? In reality, I'm probably connected to more people than Jay-Z. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I connect with people all the time. I don't have to isolate myself from anyone because I'm a celebrity. I just talk to anyone. So what we got here is creating rapport, 50 questions. Connect. Easy enough to do. And I'll do a whole video on that one. Master it by finding a wonderful mentor. I got into the business I'm in now by accident. I was in another business. I had another business. I had a health and fitness business. And even though I was, in the top 5 of recruiters, and even though I was always in the top 5 of retail, in reality, I yearned for those days of $28,739 a week. And after a couple of years, I just couldn't see it happening. It just wasn't working out for me. But I was having my people on my team follow somebody else on Facebook because his content was so good. Follow Darren Little. His content is fantastic. And I learned something very valuable. I spoke with Darren 2 years previously, someone connected us. Darren, in 2 years, would call me every few months to say hello. Never once has Darren ever tried to sell me anything, pitch me on anything. Never once to this day. Never. And I had a massive shift. I stopped becoming the annoying guy in the room. I stopped becoming the pain in the butt knocking on your door and training people to do the same. I had a massive shift. The shift was, hey, you know what? I can do this rapport thing, but when I'd done it before, I'd done it with an ulterior motive of, I'm creating rapport to get into your door. And it's going to lead to you spending money with me. And I mastered it down by those initial 50 questions. But now, I don't connect with anyone. I don't chase anyone back. 100%, 100%, I'll say it again, 100%, all of it, everything, all my business is inbound. I don't send 100 texts a day. I don't do that. It's all inbound. And it's inbound through creating great content. Now, whether that's in life, great content and rapport, you get someone laughing, that's great content. You brighten the day up. Or whether it's on Facebook. And to be honest, Facebook is most of my business, but that's just me. Oh, it's okay for you, Tom. You've got 5,000 friends. Well, you know what? I don't have 5,000 friends. And the reality of social media is only 7% of those see it anyway. Makes no difference if you got 500 or 5,000. You still get the same people see it. But when the content's good and the content's consistent, the phone. Let's look at something here. Let's just look at something. Missed call. Hang on, I'm just trying to see what I've got going on here. How many missed calls have I had since I've been on this? Oh, okay. Forget that. 80 missed calls. I've got some inboxes, but I just pressed the wrong button. Viber messages. So those are long distance calls. I operate in a business around the planet now. Forget Twitter and what's that thing there? Emails. I just don't pay any attention to them. 13 missed texts. This is in the hour I've been on the phone with you. Everyone's got my phone number. It never stops. So, just to go back over it again, we learn to create rapport. We learn to connect. That it's a skill set. It's not a talent. It's a skill set. It's a learned, proven skill. So when we do that, and we selflessly help other people do the same thing. And I know Mike's on this call now, and I know Mike worked with us, I'm losing track of time, close to 20 years ago. And Mike was 19, 20, 21. I'm going to bring you in on this in a minute, Mike. Okay, you know what? Let me just unmute yourself, Mike, can you? Are you dressed?
Almost.
I know you're on the other side of the world, and it's probably, what time you got over there, about 2 in the morning or something?
Yeah.
All right, appreciate this. So how old were you when you started working with us in the UK, Mike?
At 19.
19. And my guess is, did your brother start before you with us?
No, I started first.
Yeah.
I just said, you've got to get over here and do this with me.
Okay.
Told him what money he was earning.
So you started earning. It was same thing, knocking on doors for deregulation industry. I know you. And how long did it take you to become a team leader?
About 4 or 5 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks. So as a 19-year-old kid, I'll use the term loosely, as a 19-year-old kid, you were leading other people within 4 or 5 weeks of starting. What did you do? Did you just follow what everyone else did, or did you create your own thing?
No, just Kelly then was my leader then at the time, so I just learned so much off him and just went out and did exactly the same. What worked for him worked for me.
Yeah, so you basically just followed a mentor and did it. I know you told me this the other week, but I've forgotten the figure. How much was your best week that you earned?
£12,000.
12,000. Yeah?
Yeah.
So 12,000 in US dollars is about 20,000 for anyone watching this. How
Yeah.
long were you with us? How long were you with us before you earned £12,000, $20,000 in a week? How long were you with us?
Probably 9, 10 months.
9 or 10 months. So a 19-year-old kid within 9 or 10 months, and bear in mind that was not an online business. That was a business where you'd actually have to drive a van full of people out to an area and go knock on doors, so that you're limited in your connection. You can only knock on so many doors a day. You can only fit so many people in a van. But even with that, in 9 or 10 months, $20,000, £12,000 a week. Have we got this right?
And then next week, someone went and beat me again.
I hate it when that happens. But yeah, so we don't have these parameters. It doesn't matter now if you're 18 years old or 80 years old. What Mike's done and what I did, and there's I don't know how many people on my Facebook, I know a lot of you guys are connected through there. There's at least 2 or 3 guys on there that have been through this same program that are worth over 20 million. Probably 2 of them are worth way over 50 million. There's at least 20 guys on there that are all worth 7 figures on my Facebook. How do I know? Because they all came in, they sat in my training class. Some of them I just recruited in different businesses. But they took what they learned about connection, rapport, and selflessly share those skill sets with others and built huge businesses out of those. So right now, I'm going to cut this short because I can talk solidly for 8 hours, no problem at all. And I know it's too much to get in. Fortunately, this is recording, so I'm just going to get one last thing. Any comments, Mike? Mike, any comments, any feedback, anything you want to ask me?
No, I've loved this short journey then so far with myself, and so many other people have helped me out. It really has been an eye opener.
Yeah, well, I'm watching. I've seen how your social media, and that's just one thing. I'm seeing how your social media has shifted, and that shift in your whole more than thought process, the feel process. It's coming from a genuine you. Yeah, it's coming.
Sometimes you don't realise yourself, but 2 people in the last week have said to me, "What are you doing?" Good friends of mine, one of them my brother, said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just having so much fun." He said, "Well, why is that?" I said, "You can tell." He said, "You can see in me as a person, people who see me day in, day out, know then that I've changed and now look like a happy, enjoyable person." And that's the best gift I've got out of this.
What I'm seeing from afar is literally you opening your soul to the world and just being you. I see the pictures with your kids, the football posts, the everything, and I can see it. And this is working out wonderful. I really appreciate you being up late late at night. There's a bunch of people watching. It's not as many on the thing, but that's fine. Doesn't matter. Stefan, do you want to sort of mute yourself?
No, I think it was quite instructive. Thank you so much for sharing, both of you, your experience. I hope that soon I'll be able to share mine, with other people.
Well, in my mind, it will be by next week. Sometimes I'm telling you now. Sometimes if I see something in someone, I won't drive you completely insane, but I may just wake you up to your own belief pattern.
Right.
So you put up with a little bit of my insanity, it pays off well in the end. So just quickly, guys, if you just mute yourselves down again, I'm just going to wrap this because it's a video broadcast. Are we muted? So, a couple of things here, and we're going to wrap this. This was not a business pitch. It was not a sales pitch. It was nothing at all. It was hopefully there's people. Hopefully, hopefully there's thousands and millions of people that get something out of this last hour because it goes straight onto YouTube. What I would say is if you're at a point in your life, and I know I'm obviously working with you two guys. If you're at a point in your life where there's a shift and it's taken to a certain point and you realize what you're doing is not really you, or you're not really happy in what you're doing, or like so many people, you don't know what the future holds. You work for a big company and you know layoffs are coming. Or it could just be that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. The most common thing I see, and both you guys on here will get this, the most common thing I hear by far, when I ask people what's their passion, I love my kids, I want to spend more time with my kids. So if you're watching this and someone introduced you to this, and you want to spend more time with your kids, or you want to spend more time traveling, or whatever your passion is, get in contact with whoever invited you to this. Because we have a real category creator going on and creating huge momentum, a billion prospects probably, or a billion connections, I should say. They're not prospects, but a billion people could be seeing you and going, hey, you know what? I want to do what that guy does. And if you watch what I did today, I just went out for a walk for 5 hours, 6 hours. I answered a few phone calls. I came in, had an afternoon nap, and after the nap, here I am doing this. No prep, no nothing, just like my other videos, no prep. I had an idea what I was going to talk about, and I just spoke about myself. So if you're watching this, you've been introduced, and you want to know how to do these things, we have got something exceptional going on that everyone can use. If you're just using this for instruction, that's also perfectly fine. Use it, share it, learn from it, duplicate it. There's no pattern on my life story. There's no copyright on my life story. Use it. Get something out of it. Guys, when you're watching this, thank you so much for taking the time to do it. That's you guys on live, you guys watching, and anyone watching this on a recording. Thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate it. So, from the real Tony Cohen, right here in Spanish Harlem, New York City. Checking out. Have a wonderful one, guys.